6-hour drive to Kisumu. When you wanna try how I do. Kile tumepitia baby. That hour drive to Malanga.
So we are here with Flier, and he's telling me some very interesting information about himself. I'd spoken to him once before, and he'd mentioned that he does do a little bit of buzz, which is just a random question. And now he's just revealing to me that he's actually transitioning from being a rapper to being an artist. How crazy is that? Is it easier to be a rapper than it is to be a singer?
Yeah. From my experience, personally, I think it is. Because, you don't have to worry about any melodies. You don't have to worry about any harmonies and stuff like that. And there's so much more, well, it's 50-50. There's so much more you can say if you're just rapping. Because you're allowed to do that. You have, depending on the song, you have 3 verses, you have 16 bars per verse. And it's easier nowadays because of different forms of rap.
Okay.
So I come from the boom bap era.
Boom bap, okay.
So it was really strict. But today you can have like 12 bars, you can have a 2-minute song. So I guess it's easier.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of even with the laws of just rapping and writing lyrics nowadays, there's a lot of freedom in how you can even rhyme the song. It doesn't necessarily have to completely rhyme with the beats. I've seen a lot of artists going off beat and it still sounds really cool, like in Amigos, like in whoever. They're all doing some really good stuff. But you've managed to make the message so well portrayed, like it actually paints a picture in your head. And when I say that, I mean like specific songs, for example, Misunderstanding.
Is it things you do, little things you say? I get this feeling that you always wanna have your way. Say you want me next to you, then you push me away. Why do you blame me for just everything that goes astray? Oh, misunderstanding. Whoa, misunderstanding. Whoa, misunderstanding.
Misunderstanding is such a journey of how a toxic relationship happened and you discovering it's a toxic relationship. And I hope I'm not talking out of turn because that was my interpretation of the song. It's like how you discovered that this is a toxic relationship and then now trying to find a balance between talking to your partner about it and still being in the relationship with the person. Am I misinterpreting it?
No, I'm very interested in your definition of it because to me, it's not really a toxic relationship. That's basically what relationships are, in my opinion.
Okay.
Relationships are toxic because people are complicated.
Okay.
So your interpretation of, usually people run to that toxic tag because it works to your advantage. It's easier, it's your side of the story to say that someone did this and this to you, so they are toxic.
Okay.
Because you're taking yourself out of the equation. Like, there is a reaction. Whatever you are labeling, whatever this person did to you is a reaction. So you have a role to play in the mess. That is.
I agree. I am agreeing with what you're saying, but at the same time, there are situations which are outrightly bad. There are situations where it really is one person was a villain and the other person was a victim, or one person was a perpetrator and the other person was a recipient of the perpetration. And so it is a very interesting song, but it's still the penmanship to it. It's very descriptive. You can flow with it, and you're like, okay, so this is where they were at the beginning of the relationship, and this is where they are now. And all of your love songs, let's just start from there. Are they of imaginary people, or are there people who have existed in these relationships?
I'm pulling from different relationships, but my main key is when I make love songs, I try and remember that specific thing, like the whole idea of the misunderstanding thing. I'm placing so much emphasis on this miss, but when you look at it, you see like this petty, needy man. You understand?
It's very vulnerable.
It's easier for me to like, and I'm whiny at the end of the day. So it's easier for me to point fingers, but it's usually like, so basically, going back before I get sidetracked.
Yeah.
For me, relationships are exactly that. So I'm trying to remind myself that for anything to be perfect, I have to put in the work. So like, also coming from like R&B sides and stuff like that, relationships, the way they're portrayed in songs, they're usually just one-sided. It's either I love you, I'll do everything for you, or you did me wrong, you are toxic. So, but no one ever talks about like the complicated nature of relationships.
Okay, I like that. I like that dissection. It does bring a lot of light, because like there's a lot of in between that does exist that no one really talks about. No one talks about the journey, and so it was really interesting to hear that perspective. But as far as I can see from the, because we were listening to your music, of course, through an app. So I was listening to you through the music app on Apple. And the oldest song that I could find on that list was Embrace, which was done in 2019. So I tried to look back and further, and I didn't see anything else that was present before 2019. So was that your first song?
That was the first song that I put out on YouTube, on different platforms, but I have done other songs.
Okay.
And the other songs that I've taken out because I felt like, okay, creatively I'm not where I used to be, so I feel like this is not the perfect representation of where I'm at right now.
I like it.
And also message-wise, there are certain songs I've taken out because I don't believe whatever I used to believe in.
Oh, that's nice. A lot of growth as a person. But for many people, I feel like that reflection of like going back and going like, all right, this is what I did before, and this is where I'm at now. That journey is for us a very interesting journey to take with you, because we kind of see the beginning of what he did then, and then we're like, all right, this is where he is now. Such a drastic difference. We can tell mentally where you were, what kind of experiences that you'd had during that time versus now, and all of that. So why wouldn't you want us to know? Why would you why are you just canceling us?
I feel like it's because of the people I look up to. I do most of the things myself.
Yeah.
So like, and as I grow, I get irritated by like the things that I've done that are not a perfect representation of who I am. So I feel like, yes, there's that opportunity for you to see how I've grown.
Yeah.
But I feel like also there's a legacy thing. Like if I leave, I want like the perfect representation of myself on these platforms.
Interesting. It sounds very Gen Z, but okay, we'll take it. Now, speaking about Gen Z and the evolution of Gen Z to millennial, because that's pretty much the trajectory here, you then became very political with your songs. I think on the phone call we had before, I spoke about policy and how much of an interesting song it was for me to listen. And then we also have Sambaratika, and we also have Slave Driver, which are very, very vocal when it comes to politics. And you've gone very heavy, like with all your songs, the ones that I've listened to anyway, you've gone very heavy on police, and not just police brutality, but magendo and corruption, and how people will go from being in a small position of power on paper, but when you see what their lives are at this moment in time, you're like, wait, that doesn't make sense. You earn like 14K as a local policeman. How are you living in Runda? How are you living in Karen? How is it possible that you're able to maintain this lifestyle where obviously it's impossible for us to understand where your money is coming from? We can't audit that properly. So what makes you feel, what drives you very hard on police specifically? Because there's so many other people who are doing the same thing, but why specifically the policeman?
Okay, so most of the times I get confused for like an
activist.
An activist.
Are you not?
It's not actually. It's social commentary.
Okay.
Like I like, there's a very interesting clip on a Mobb Deep album. It's from they were talking about Stephen King. They were coming from this perspective where people are telling them to make positive music. So they're saying we are making the type of music we're making because the hood is negative. So we cannot help but only make what we see.
True.
It's like telling it's telling Stephen King to make a happy movie, a happy horror movie.
It can't be.
Horror movies are horrible because
They
demons
are
and
that.
stuff like that are horrible. So like when it comes to like understanding my perspective on politics, is I'm making what I see. So I'm commenting on the things that are happening in my society. So like we don't have clean water. We don't have water in most places. We don't have like we have. I was stopped the other day. Traffic policeman wants money and stuff like that. Those are things that people can relate to, not because it's a fun topic, but because they see it every day.
True.
So it's not really activism, but it's just observation in my perspective.
We genuinely thought you were an activist. We were literally just about to ask you that. Like, did you decide that this is the Boniface Mwangi? The Boniface Mwangi in you wants to come out and you want to write a whole book about political detriment and all of that.
No, not at all.
Okay. Now, speaking about political stances, or at least stances in general, we of course we checked out your social media and we saw the big man himself, Tetu Shani, is a follower.
Okay.
And we personally, I'm going to speak for myself. I love Blinky Bill. I love Tetu Shani. I love that jazz vibe that is music. The kind of music that you make is very closely related to what I love to listen to. Why? Because it builds my soul, it feeds my spirit, it makes me feel something. And so we were just like, okay, how do you and Tetu know each other? Are you planning on doing a song anytime soon? Is that something we should be looking forward to? What's this? What's the story there?
Okay, he's a really stand-up guy. He's reached out to me in a few occasions and commented on what I do. So like from the Kenyan scene, I can say like he's like the first, not maybe only person who's been transparent and take it. And he's invited me to his radio show.
254 Radio, right?
254 Radio, So my opinions of him, I don't know him outside of the platform.
Okay.
But he's amazing at what he does. So for me, I was really humbled because he taught me how to interact with other artists, because we knew artists have an issue. Because we feel like we either are building people up or we are we feel like, let me rephrase it, we feel like if we tell people how good they are, it will take away from us.
Yes.
And he's someone who didn't let his amazingness stand in the way of whatever he saw was good in me. And he pointed out, I like this and I like that. He added me to his playlist. So so if he gets an opportunity to listen to this, like I completely appreciate him. And if an opportunity opens up, like to do music with him, like why would I not?
Yeah,
like, he's amazing.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to, I'm waiting for the moment where I'll be seeing you doing music with the likes of Steph Capella, who I also love. Steph Capella is amazing. Like I can't wait for that moment when all the artists that I love will sit down together and do like a collaboration, and it will be the biggest banger in the world. That will be the biggest thing to ever happen in my life, and I'll be super happy about it. But I digress. Now, again, we go back to the beginning of your music, or at least the beginning of when we started to see your music, which is 2019. Was it, a lot of your music has been created between that era of COVID, like during the COVID period, 2019, 2020, lots of songs, even Ways is now very recent. It's the latest song, yeah? So a lot of your music was, what is posted online has been seen to be around that scope of the COVID era. Are you trying to tell us that you did find inspiration during that space, or is it just coincidental that you had enough time and then you decided to create?
Okay, I have a lot of music. So with me, like, I used to rely on inspiration a lot of times, or like the feeling of inspiration to come to me and then go and create. But I made a decision where like, I view it as a business. I view it as I can just go, like right now I'm making songs, I'm making albums, I'm making EPs. I can decide tomorrow I'm making 3 songs and I'm going to make 3 songs. So I don't usually rely on inspiration. Okay. Because it fails.
It does.
So whatever you've had is not as a result of the period we had, the free time we had during COVID. It's just because it's a routine I've formed over the years. And there's a reason why the songs are like that, and there are other songs that I should have released. But then when you start to release music and put it on Spotify and stuff like that, because of playlisting, then you need to space it. So I actually have more music
Okay.
So yeah.
We're excited to hear that. We can't wait for the end of the year, just to take stock of what's happened. And we honestly can't wait to see where you'll be at the end of the year, because your journey seems beautiful. And honestly, you can feel, when you can feel an artist is about to become so big, you're one of those artists who you can genuinely feel like deep inside. You're like, oh, this one. Sauti Soul have nothing going on. We are waiting to see you playlisting next to them.
It's a compliment, and then it's also like, because the two can exist, yeah? Two things can exist at the same time.
You didn't hear me finish my sentence.
We don't have to
I
cancel
said we can't wait to see you on the same shows as Sauti Soul, like co-starring, having an event with like Kenyan artists all together. As I said, that would be my biggest. It would be like a dream come true. Like going to an event where you see all the headliners are just people that you love. Blinky Bill, you, Titu Shani. We have like all of these major artists who make very beautiful music. But again, speaking about your music, there's a very interesting aspect that we've noticed as we listened to, again, what you have released, because you've said you have so much more that is coming. There are lots of interesting intros and outros and some very interesting ad-libs.
Unaona habari, unaona hao wamevicheza. Mawe ni ikonge lakini ni mita. Toto iko tumbo ya mama yake iko na deni Kenya.
It does add a very interesting element to it. Is that inspired by the song? You find a song, you write it, and then you then add something that's related, or does it work the other way?
A bit of both. So like the one you're referring to is Policy.
Yeah.
I saw like that interview on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was thinking about the whole situation, and that brought the song now into like a reality.
Okay.
Yeah, so certain things, like there's a song I have on Microwave. It's called Microwave.
I love Microwave. We were just about to speak about it.
Okay. So that's when it ends. It's a conversation I had with my friend.
Do you know what I mean? A little bit of sausage, and then after flash it down with a bit of water. It's got to be done, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's lovely, jubbly, mate. Try it out sometime. Do you know what I mean?
Because this person is an artist, and I couldn't get him on the song. So I told him, like, I'll get you on a song, whether you like it or not. So I took a recording we had, and yeah.
I like that. Now, speaking about favorite songs on the list, I think my top 3. Okay, let me call them. I have top 5 because, like, there's so many songs to choose from. Microwave is one of them. I love that song. There's something about it that's just very. It speaks a lot to the kind of environment that we're in, where it's just cha 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 cha. You all want to grow. You all want to become big. You all want to become famous at the same time. Basically, everyone is just trying to get from 0 to 100 without any sweat at all, which is such an amazing perspective, considering, again, the whole playlist. And then I think Bad Guy is also very interesting. It's just a very interesting song. The beats, the vibes, there's something about it that I love. Hey Heaven, I think my top song. Hey Heaven is just a very nice song. And then Good Times, and of course my producer and I agree on X, Wako Hawezi.
Ukiacha kuniavoid, nitakupeleka toy na wadi, nikushikie bei ya makamera, wedera X wako hawezi.
Hi, my name is Flier, and you're watching the Story Clip Show.
Now, Waithera mlitoana na yeye wapi? Because that's ndio mpelekane toy. Where did you toana with Waithera? And among those songs that we mentioned, do you have a favorite?
First, thank you for listening.
Yeah, you're welcome.
To all the songs. I don't think, for me, I usually gauge them on like my method, like how far I've grown. And when you listen to the songs as I release them, I'm usually just trying to extend myself. Because initially when I was rapping, I was just rapping in English. And then I would play it around guys, they would love it. Then I would play it around guys from the East, and they were like, okay, it's nice, but there's too much English. And then you get to know what people like. And then so it's a matter of how much you can compromise to get what you like and what they like to form something that is not too much to the left. So for me, I don't see it as a favorite. For me, the favorite maybe is Embrace, because it represents a point where I said, okay, I have all this music on my laptop. I need to put it out there. I need to stop procrastinating.
Okay.
Because there's this idea of like perfectionism as a strength, but most of the time it's just a fear of judgment.
It ends up becoming a bit of a crutch. Like you're constantly looking back, you're constantly reevaluating, and then you end up not doing it at all, procrastinating.
Yeah. So for me, it's maybe favorite not because of sonically how it sounds, but because of what it represents. Like, okay, this is the day I decided, whatever. If they like it, it's okay. If they hate it, at least I tried. Yeah.
Okay. Now, tell me what was going through your mind when you were creating Hey Heaven.
Yeah. It's the whole idea of like heaven, really, in terms of like, because it's the great unknown. It's also like, it's Havana, it's the promised land, it's the concept that one day this whole mess will make sense. It's never, no one has ever come back really, but human beings have to believe in something, because everything else is insane.
True.
So we have to believe in something sane that will tie everything together, that will, if you have a lost loved one, that one day you'll see them, and at that one place of peace and tranquility. So heaven represents a lot of things. So when you look at the idea, the concept of heaven as a perfect place, and people who go there deserve it, that's where this verse 2 comes in. It's saying, okay, I hope I'll make it there. And then you start to look around. Okay, God will will this
these
corrupt
guys
person
go? Will that one go too?
Yeah,
And
will
again,
this
the
make
police.
it there?
Why you always coming on these policemen? I understand, but like,
It has nothing to do with them as
I'm
people,
kidding, I'm
but
kidding,
it has
I'm
everything to do
kidding.
with them. I understand. But it has everything to do with them as a symbol of authority.
True.
Yeah, and someone who's abusing the power that they have, at least on our side of the world. It's really clear, the contrast as to what you're supposed to do or what you're not doing.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have Ex Wako, which again we just said is such a banger. Like the beat, from the beat dropping to the lyrics in the song. I love how you played about, taking her to toy and and all of that, and like trying to, convince her that you're the one and not the other people. What again was going through your mind when you were coming up with that song?
That song I made it because I knew I want to release Sambaratika. And I don't want to be attached again with an activist. I don't want people to say, why your songs are always politics and stuff like that.
True.
But also, I also wanted, so it's just like the calm before the storm.
Okay.
And also, like, I wanted to create a song with a 3-dimensional character. Like, where there is a 3-dimensional character, it's not a her. You actually know this person's name, and you know her history. You know she doesn't have a job. You know she came from a breakup. You know she has kids. So it's when you look at the whole song, at the end of the day, you get familiarized with a woman named Waidera. Yeah, so that I just wanted to give, and also the whole thing is also like a reflection of men and how and you see my approach is I feel like I can do something for this person. Therefore, I deserve her.
Okay.
It's not that she's attracted to me.
Nope.
I can provide for you. Therefore, I am deserving of you. So that's the concept of.
It's like taking away the choice from the person to choose you by blinding them with all of the other bling that you can give her, and all of the other opportunities that you can provide for her. It's a very interesting song, and I like that. I like the fact that you are, in as much as you keep saying you're not political, that is also a stance, just so you know, in the politics of femme or in the politics of feminism, that is also a stance, which is also really cool. And then I also really enjoyed Good Times. Good Times is honestly just that. It's good vibes. It's a good song. You play it and you feel nice. It honestly, it's for you. There's a very distinct. How do I say? There's a very distinct thing you will hear when you listen to your songs. It will either be completely politics or it will be a love song. So that's why at the beginning of the show we mentioned that it's perfect for this weather, both politically and baridi yenyewe, because it's just what you release, or at least again what we have seen. Are we going to be seeing a lot more variety, or is this is what Flier is?
We're going to see a lot more variety.
Okay.
For sure. And when you think about it, really, when you talk about politics, it's still love, really.
It really
love
is.
For power, love for money, love for fame, love for... So it's all the same thing, really.
So you describe yourself as what kind of musician?
I just make music for human beings.
Wow.
And human beings are not at the same place every time.
Yeah.
We experience love, we experience politics, we experience heart and pain. And sometimes we go to the club and we need a good time.
True.
And sometimes we break up, or we are pursuing a chick and we need extra awezi. So it's just that.
Okay, you are pretty much in our journey as human beings, because also loved Bandia. Kile Tumepitia was also a really nice song, as you mentioned. Umebadilika was also very nice, loved it. Filthy Rich was a banger. Like, you can't tell me anything else, but Filthy Rich was a banger. I really loved listening to the story about
nisomeshe mpaka nephew na niece, wakiuliza sema farming business, yani kazi ngumu na sweat. Wave by to the struggling days, getting by on a minimum wage, when I'm filthy rich.
basically you promising your people that I'm going to do this one bad thing just so I can make sure that I take care of all of you. It's such a, I don't know, it's almost ironic that you are rooting for this person just so they can be able to fulfill what they need to fulfill, or the promises that they made to their people and their families. But at the same time, you're like, it will be at my detriment. So it's really a catch-22 in all its ways. What was the inspiration again for that song, and what was going through your mind when you were coming up with it?
Oh, that was actually my first Swahili song. So yeah, coming from that whole, because these songs were not released at the same time they were made. So these are old songs. So coming from that whole conversation, yeah, their songs are nice, but you see, there's too much English in these songs. So I tried, yeah. So that's one layer, and the other layer is, I want to make a love song that is not the usual pattern. It's a love song that's not like straightforward like Ways is. So that whole song is a song about pursuing a chick, but then now bringing in the political side and the different layers, just coming from an angle that many people are not used to.
True. It does make you want to listen more. It does make you want to get to the end so you know what exactly was happening in the whole story. It really, honestly, it's a good song. There's nothing more we can say about it other than it is a good song. But you've spoken about rapping. You've spoken about the fact that you've transitioned from being a rapper to sort of like I can call you a love song artist. That's all we can say, because it's like a combination of like jazz, it's Afro pop, it's a combination of so many genres of music, but then it ultimately does come off as a love song artist, as you've mentioned and declared yourself as. Was I wrong?
I'm everything to everyone.
Okay.
So you're not wrong.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now, speaking about your rapping, did you have a different name? Did you go by a different name? What was your stage name?
No, the same name, really.
It was the same name?
Same name, really, yeah. A long time ago, but yeah.
How long time ago was this long time ago?
Oh, my goodness. 2016.
2016 is not a long time ago, but okay. And if we are being also bold, how old are you at this moment in time?
That's a good question. How old do I look?
You're not gonna ask me the same question that I just asked you. You're gonna play
I'm
me into
serious.
play. You're not gonna play me into playing myself, my brother. I'm sorry. That's
Okay.
not. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You honestly look like you're like 19, or I don't
God.
know. Like the oldest I can peg you is maybe 24. Actually, 22.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really nice. I'm
Well,
34.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah.
Are we seeing the same thing? Would you believe? It's a lie. You're lying. That is a lie.
It's not. It's in the genes. I come from my family doesn't grow old. Like my guys, the melanin is strong.
Hey, yo, 34. That makes it, even the producer is like, what? That is insane. I feel like maybe we are going to talk Chemba and then you're going to have to send me a screenshot of your ID because like I can't believe it. I cannot, but it's amazing genes. We love that for you and for your family. At least you'll be the African vampire, you know? It's kind of cool. Do not age. Even with
And
the
we all
sun.
like that though. We don't age really.
That's really cool. And finally, I think as we wrap up, when's the next one being released? Because Ways is new. Again, loved Ways. It's very short, very sweet. It's just a vibe. That's all it is.
Thank you.
Yeah. So when's the next song being released?
Sometime this year, I'm working on an EP because I felt like I should. It's. I appreciate the response, but it's also like it's a very fearful thing, for lack of a better word, because now the whole idea of being judged, you work on and also like all the songs I released, they could have made like an EP.
True.
But then it's also always a fear of being judged. Like, okay, guys are waiting for an EP and then this is it. You know, so like, yeah, so I'm doing the same thing I did with Embrace. I'm saying, okay, I will just do this one thing, whether they like it or not. It's at least I've tried.
You know what?
So,
I'm excited. I cannot wait for that EP. I hope it will have some mad collaborations as well. Ama, you're going because I've seen a couple of artists, like we spoke to one recently who pretty much the whole EP was just her. Back to back, was just her, did not have any features, nothing. Because she was trying to prove that she can be an artist independent of everyone else. Like she's a good artist. It doesn't matter whether she has someone else on there or not. Are you going to be taking the same route or do you think you'll have collaborations in there?
I hope to have a few collaborations, but mostly it's mostly me because like from production, it's basically not trying to prove that I can do everything myself, but also trying to give the best representation of myself. So from the production to the lyrics to everything, I'm just trying to create a sound, if for lack of a better word.
You sound like a very deep person. I like that. It's very deep. Like you can tell that if we sat down with someone for an hour, they would end up really analyzing life, you know, and dissecting it and feeling like, by the way, we are mere mortals and we were born into this earth to make a difference. Am I correct in my analysis?
I hope so.
And the humility hits the decks. So I think that about wraps up the interview with our friend Flier. And now we're going to do a very interesting part of it. We're going to go into a very interesting part of the show, which we all love to do, which is simple. This particular time, he told us he's a rapper. And honestly,
Oh my goodness.
why? Why should we not stand the test of time with this particular person? Are you ready? The name of the game is very easy. It is called word association. So we're going to give him a word and then he'll try and come up with a lyric. Playful, deep, whatever he decides to do, we are ready for it. Are you ready, Flier?
I think so.
So let's go.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Sorry I kept you waiting. It's been a long time coming. I'm finally out the kitchen, officially taking over. No stammering in the sentence, but people, the wait is over. The future is now present. No equal. In a league of his own, call him your highness, the finest. A man's a beast on the drums. It's from the planet where the primates never sleep when it's sun. It's still rising and its flow is like the heat from the slums. It keeps rising. As long as I got air in my lungs, I keep rhyming because my nephews and my nieces are young. They're still malleable. The tongue's my only weapons like guns that sling syllables. Only difference is mine, give life and inspirations. Vowels that be constructing like algebraic equations. Wise and clear instruction solely for your elevation.
Okay, that that was actually really good. I love the algebraic equations. That was really, really cool. I love it. Is that from something you've done before?
That's a rhyme from 2016. I'm
Damn.
rusty.
I love that. I know for sure if that was 2016, what can he do now? You know? Yeah. Guys, we cannot wait to listen to the rest of the EP. I know some of this beautiful stuff is going to be coming out, and I honestly cannot wait for it to be launched later on in the year. But for now, make sure you actually go online and check out his new song. It goes by the name Ways. It is such an amazing song. We're going to plug it in here as well so you can be able to listen to it. But that was us and an amazing guest who goes by the name of Flier. Anything else you want to say?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. And that about wraps it up. Thank you very much. Bye.